Last time on the Serpent Isle, the Avatar ship landed literally on the beaches of Serpent Isle. It has been 18 months since the destruction of the Black Gate and the dismantling of the Fellowship. The Avatar's quest: find Batlin and Iolo's wife Gwenno. I took stock of our supplies and holy virtues. We are loaded. The Avatar is outfitted with a full set of magical armor. The black rock sword we obtained from the Isle of Fire. A spell book with a bunch of spells, but no reagents, unfortunately. Food for an extended journey. Supplies. We are prepared. And then we ventured south, and a teleportation storm displaced all my companions and jacks all my equipment across the world. What the deuce. Continuing on southwards, a comely monk named Thoxa teleports in, who serves as the game's guide for events ahead, in a way, and also asks us a series of copyright protection questions. I answered all that accurately, and she gave us a lot of information: a power that dwells in the void, find a necklace, ring, and earring, gave us the Hourglass of Fate, which resurrects not only me from death, but also our companions once we find them. After our conversation with her, another monk teleported in, a monk named Karnax, who chastised Thoxa for meddling with the flow of prophecy, and they both started attacking each other with powerful magics. Thoxa emerged the victor, but not without sustaining some injury, and then she disappears. Not long after that, Shamino came into view, and he quickly joined our party. He told us that our equipment was displaced by the storm, replaced by some odd items we haven't seen before, just in case you didn't open your backpack to check yourself. One of those items that Shamino had was a bear skull. He was also wearing slippers on his feet too when he approached us, which is kind of funny. The bear skull belonged to a bear skeleton, just a bit down south. The skull was replaced with the magical bow. Nice. If we find where these items came from, we will find our lost equipment, which is a very neat idea for a quest. Thoxa also mentioned there was a hidden cave behind a red bush. Inside we found some supplies, which is much needed considering what happened earlier, and a scroll that mentions some ancient system a lost race of people in the Isle used to worship. Leaving the cave, we fought some wolves, took some food from a dead animal nearby, and finally found civilization, the city of Monitorian, the city of knights, and the city of courage. The knight at the gate had 2 pikemen accompany us and urged us to go talk to the lord of the city, Marston. But before we could reach the crematorium where Marston and his knights were, we were pestered, in a way, by a young teenage girl named Cantra. We found out through her that her father died recently, and that she soon was going to take the test of knighthood so she could become a knight of Monitorian, a task that she was very enthusiastic about. She said that the first goblin she kills will be for him, a race that the people of the Serpent Isle here have been at war with for many generations. She also gave some vital clues for the test, just in case we decide to become a knight ourselves. She said that despite the test sounding hard, it's actually very easy. Making our way into the crematorium and into the crypts, we finally find Marston, surrounded by some knights. They were here to bury their champion knight, Astrid, and are basically paying their respects after the funeral service. She was apparently ambushed in a raid by goblins and killed, along with the other pikemen, aside from one. He gave us some vital information about the land, the goblins, the 3 commands of Monitorian, the wolves, the bears, and the leopards, and most importantly, he told us a white-haired enchanter landed on the roof during the funeral, and he was jailed for it. Last but not least, he also told us his forefathers escaped from the lands of Caesarea before they became lands of Britannia, a long time ago. Their story is that a tyrant known as Lord British was trying to enforce his tyrannical virtues on people who didn't quite agree with it. He's called Lord British in Britannia, but here in Serpent Isle, he is called Beast British. After our conversation with him, 2 pikemen accompanied Dupré right around the corner. Nice. All we have to do now is find Iolo, and our party will be ready to go to find Batlin and Gwenno. The part pretty much ended right there. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a little extra that I meant to put in the first video. If you haven't watched it yet, there's a character you meet really early on called Thoxa. This blonde, blue-haired, monkish looking woman. Well, she is a monk. She gives you a bunch of questions. They're called copyright protection questions. They're supposed to test if you actually bought the game back in the day. And also, it's an in-game reason to make sure that the Avatar is actually the hero from another world. Because the whole thing with Serpent Isle is the fact that the end times are approaching, and a hero from another world is supposed to arrive to the Serpent Isle to put things right. But if you fail these copyright protection questions, then you are not the hero from another world. And this is what happens. She says oink. and everything goes pretty crazy. You try to talk to her. She says, and Shamino as well, once you talk to him, a bunch of gibberish. I'll read this out. Honor thy father and thy amphibian, smart guy. An imperialism, my kingdom for an imperialism. A fool and his monarchy are soon pedantic. I will show thee my comforting bureaucracy, if thou wilt show me thine. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a Norman. Beautiful smarty pants, I shall have my eruption call thy eruption. Thou shalt know the quagmire, and thy quagmire shall make thee diuretic. Ask not what thy grotesque slug can do for thee, but what thou canst do for thy grotesque slug. Ode to a pagan sickle, rage against the campaigning of the sickle. Ode to an affected barge, oh how the thunder mooses of barge, complain similarly amidst the affected. Last time when I tested this out, that just went on and on. As a kid, I failed these questions because, well, keep in mind I was 8 years old. I had no idea that these were copyright protection questions. I was a console gamer back then. But thankfully I was eventually wise enough to check the manual and saw the same questions Thoxa asks you. Finnegan also asks you these questions in the Black Gate, but the world doesn't go insane like in Serpent Isle. This is actually very clever for Origin to do, because it fits with the theme of the game. The whole thing is that an imbalance is crushing the land of Serpent Isle as well as the universe, and one of the symptoms is people going crazy. Let's talk to Shamino. That's the same thing. All my operatic pod people are training gumpily. Ode to a dependent pod person. This morning I saw a small pod person gossiping fiscally. How the seasons of dependent come and go. Death falls upon us all. That one makes the most sense out of the rest of the insanity we heard earlier. Beautiful, smart guy. I shall have my lenticular cloud. Call thy lenticular cloud, excuse me. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's Armageddon, gutter snipe. Neither a borrower nor a sycophant be. Workers of the world collate. You have nothing to lose but your jutes. Damn the Saxons, partisan speed ahead. Neither a borrower nor a pod person be. Damn the eruptions, glandular speed ahead. And that's it. If you open up the stats page, everything says oink. I guess it's supposed to make you not feel bad for pirating the game back in the day, because back in the day, if you pirated this game, it was, I think, as simple as just copying the data from the floppies or the CDs to a different blank one. But if you didn't have these questions, you weren't able to progress with the game, and you most likely did not have internet. When I was a kid, I only knew of one person who had the internet. So either you had the internet, or you were lucky enough to have a friend who had a manual to answer these questions. But this is very clever for Origin to do, because it fits with the whole theme of the game. You can still explore and stuff, see Shamino's bow here that I'll grab. You can still go in this cave and explore this area if you like. Read that scroll. I actually kind of had fun with this. Like back then I didn't know these questions were... I thought the game was actually testing me on my knowledge of the Ultima series, because some of them, if you knew the answers, for example, the game asks you, oh, a wolf, how about you? He says oink. Even the avatar has gone crazy. Can you kill the wolf? I don't know how long this is going to take. I have no weapons. Oh, there we go. Easy, just one wolf. In part 1, I fought 2 wolves. Even the avatar has gone crazy. But yeah, as I was saying, I thought those questions, just like Finnegan, the mayor in the beginning of Black Gate, I thought it was a way to test the player on the Ultima series. Because one question in this one asks you, how many clans divide the city of Monitor, up ahead, the Nightly City? Well, the answer to that is 3. There's 3 clans. There is one question that asks you how many words of power there are in magic. It's 27. So if you actually played this game a lot, you would know these questions. Though the Monitor question you would only know if you played the game once all the way through. You can't progress any further beyond this point, of course, because this guy here, and I forgot his name, Finster? just says a bunch of useless stuff that I'm not going to read out because it feels like I'm going crazy reading this. How did Origin come up with this stuff? They actually wrote this stuff down into their script for the writers to put in, for the developers to put in. You can't go any further. In fact, I think there's a little bit of a cheat to progress past Monitor. Someone broke the game a long time ago, while the world went crazy. No, nothing here. It says oink for wait as well. Even eating food makes you say oink. Even the avatar has gone crazy. And now, finally, let's start playing some more Ultima VII Part 2, Serpent Isle, with the Silver Seed add-on, and the Serpent Isle Fixes patch. Forgot to mention, yeah, the Silver Seed, if you never played this game before, is the expansion just like Forge of Virtue was to the Black Gate. And before I start playing this game, this is actually my third attempt at recording. I kind of messed up the other day. It's kind of hard to explain because I'd be spoiling a little bit of the game. So I had to go for try number 2, and in try number 2 of my recording, I noticed that music wasn't playing in certain spots. Do you hear that right now? Cave music? That wasn't playing when I was talking to Marston, so I thought maybe Serpent Isle Fixes was not working too well with the official Exalt version. So I told you in the very beginning of part 1 that it said you need snapshot of Exalt to run Serpent Isle Fixes and Blackgate Keyring mod. But I think that's just me being a little paranoid, because I compared the base version to this version, and I think the music just sort of plays when it feels like it. Without further ado, we need to explore the city of Monitor. Namely, we need to find Iolo. Marston and the others said a white-haired enchanter landed on the roof of the crematorium, disrupting the funeral proceedings for poor knight, champion knight Astrid, rest in peace. Well, white-haired, we know one guy with white hair, that's Iolo. And he's not an enchanter, he knows no magic, so let's go try to find him. I'm not going to talk to this gentleman here, and that problem I had with recording involved the crematorium. I got stuck here, and I had to redo a large section of the game because my save went back pretty far. And I redid whatever I had to do here, and I went a bit too quickly. It's a little bit of a spoiler, and I don't want to mention it right now. But the other problem happened when I came back from the break. I had to record the last 20 minutes. Basically, where I last left off, I was outside an area I was supposed to enter, and it was raining and thundering. When I reloaded my save, which was minutes away from that area, I positioned my characters in a certain way so the jump cut that I would make would be seamless and smooth. Except one problem. I didn't notice this until I started editing. Outside the area I was supposed to enter, it is now sunny instead of raining and thundering. So the jump cut was really awkward. Basically the commentary went in a way like I acted like it was the exact same world state where I last left off when it wasn't. There are bones in there. They have been neglecting their prisons. Wonderful. Ah. Is this the white-haired enchanter? He looks like Iolo. Talk to him. Dear friend, help me, Avatar. Please, free thine old friend. There hath been a terrible mistake, my lord. That storm transported me to this odd city. Because I am a stranger, they arrested me. They say that I am an enchanter. It's pretty funny they call you an enchanter, Iolo. You know no magic. You just know how to play a lute and fire a crossbow. Speak to Lord Marston, and win my freedom. I know thou shalt not leave me. Return soon. Pity an old man. Iolo, why are you complaining so much? You've only been in there for like 1 or 2 hours. You act like you've been in there for like 6 months. Well, let's try to get him out, I guess. Ah, cat. How you doing? Psst, psst. There, kitty kitty. Whoops. We'll leave that open. We're gonna come back eventually. So I think we should talk to Marston. It's currently 8 a.m. I know exactly where he is. Once you leave, all the NPCs go to where they should be going. Oh look, a dog. And a pikeman. Wonderful. This city of Monitor is actually really well designed. It's a big city. It kind of reminds me of Britain in a way. It's not the capital city of Serpent Isle. There's like 3 cities in Serpent Isle. It's a pretty small game compared to the Black Gate, and despite this game being copy-pasted from Black Gate, we do feel like a stranger in a new world, in a way. The Avatar has visited this land a long time ago. I don't know if I mentioned that already. If I didn't, I'm probably going to reveal it later. Oh, here's Marston. Greetings, sir. Hello. Have you noticed when you talk to NPCs in Serpent Isle, they approach you? when you address them. Unlike the Black Gate where you can talk to someone beyond a wall. That's new. A little bit more immersive. Greetings, Ruben. What is thy business with me? About that enchanter? I understand thou hast spoken with this villain. Oh, he is my friend. Then explain to me thy friend's actions. Is he a sorcerer? No, Iolo knows no magic. He's just a portly old man who misses his wife Gwenno. Knows how to play a mean lute and fire a mean crossbow. Then how did he appear in the middle of the funeral? Doth he fly? Yes, he does. No, he does not. I do not know. We're going to choose he was hit by lightning, because that's the truth. Indeed, the storms have been known to magically displace their victims. If only thou were a knight, then I could let thee vouch for thy friend, and let him free. But thou art merely a stranger here. Okay, bye. Good day, certainly. We're not going to ask permission to do the knight's test just yet. I'm going to come back later. Actually, I'll ask him right now. Wasting time here a little bit. Ask permission. None can take the test in knighthood without the permission of the Lord of Monitor. Dost thou seek my permission? Yes. Very well. Shmei will ask thee the password. Tell him this. Courage is the soul of life. Bye. And we can probably be a knight anytime we want to. But that's going to take a little long to pull Iolo out of prison. Which is another thing I want to mention. You know how Shamino arrived to us pretty quickly, and then Dupre? I imagine the developers are like, let's give the player a little bit more of a challenge to get Iolo out of prison. Let's have that be much more harder to do. Which is fine. I just find that kind of funny. And Iolo, poor Iolo, was the first one to be struck by the teleport storm. And he's in the worst position out of these other two. This is where we need to go. This is the town hall, where the command leaders come and talk to each other about politics and such. Really, really boring. We'll talk to this guy, and this guy is actually someone you may know. I forgot to mention that a lot of the NPCs here have real-life counterparts. Much like Lord British is Richard Garriott, you know? This guy is Spectre, as you can see. I'm Spectre, Treasurer of Monitor. This is War Inspector. He worked in Origin alongside RG and his team. You know, he's most famous for, you know, his magnum opus, Deus Ex, and prior to that, he wrote and produced Ultima VI: The False Prophet, and also most famous for Ultima Underworlds 1 and 2. Blue Sky Productions, Looking Glass Studios, then Looking Glass Technologies. Very, very famous game dev. We'll ask about the Enchanter in a minute. Let's ask about his duties. Frankly, I do so many things. I am Monitor's treasurer. Lord Marston may order things done, but I must find a way to pay for it all. I handle the books and the paperwork, and I'm the local money exchanger. I also collect and administer the taxes. Frankly, I'm not much of a fighter, even though I am a knight. What can you tell me about being a knight? Well, I dutifully passed the test in knighthood when I was 15, but frankly, not everyone was born to be a knight, I admit it. What I am is an intellectual. Other knights may scoff, but I don't care. I might be an easy target on the list field, but in debate, I'm a killer. Perhaps thou should consider taking the test in knighthood. It is not so difficult with proper training. We citizens are so much nicer to thee when thou art a knight, rather than a stranger. We distrust outsiders. But what can you tell me about the test in knighthood? We already kind of know about it, but we're going to ask everyone. It is actually quite easy. Do not believe what the knights will tell thee. Frankly, if I can pass it, anyone can. If thou desires to know more, I would suggest speaking with Kaladin. We did. He's the instructor for young knight candidates. Also, thou could speak with little Kantra. We did. She's preparing to take the test next month, and is full of information. Okay, taxes. Our pikemen patrol the major roads connecting Monitor with Fawn and Sleeping Bull, and man the guard towers. In better times, caravans traveled these routes, and we collected a fat reward from merchants eager for our protection. But now the rumors of a gathering goblin invasion have scared the travelers off the roads. Frankly, this is nonsense. Invasion? The Knights of Monitor have repelled such goblin aggression successfully in the past, and they shall do so again. And finally, we can exchange coins. I'm going to do that first before asking about the Enchanter. We may need some currency from this city. Speaking of which, there's a few different currencies in this game. We got gold coins, we got Falari from the Teleport Storm, and this city has... I'll mention what he has after I read this. To barter coins, I charge a small fee of the money exchange. Dost thou agree? Yes. What coinage dost thou desire? He's got Monetari, Guilders, Falari, and gold coins. Monetari is obviously Monitor's currency, and Guilders is likely Moonshade. I'm gonna choose Monetari. What does thou care to exchange for Monetari? Gold coins. I can give thee 1 Monetari for every 2 gold coins thou hast. Dost thou agree to my rate? Yes. How many gold coins wouldst thou like to exchange? All of it. I will take thy 126 gold coins and give thee 63 Monetari. Subtracting my charge of 2 Monetari, for a final sum of 61 Monetari given to thee. The coins are thine. Dost thou wish to exchange more? No. Now about the enchanter, finally. Perhaps thou shouldst pay me, say, a fine. Yes, a fine, that's it. To pay for this rogue Iolo's misdeeds. After all, I am the city treasurer, thou dost know, so it would be most proper. Okay, how much is the fine? Wouldst thou be willing to pay a fine of 30 Monetari? That's cheap. Yeah, I'm gonna pay that right away. Very well. Here's the key to the defender's cell. Tell him to consider himself lucky. Seldom is the town of Monitor so forgiving of the trespasses of others. Goodbye. Go in courage. What's in here? Ah, it's the treasury. You should probably lock this door, Spectre. I like how his name is spelled with a K, not a C. Well, let's go back to Iolo's jail cell. I'm sure he'll be very happy being pulled out of there. He seems to be suffering pretty badly, even though it's only been like an hour or 2 in game. He acts like he's been in there for like 6 months. Did that cat leave? Or is it still in here? It's still in here. Oh well. Also, a little funny thing with Exiled, I think in the base version, I think it's Exiled, birds, animals can actually open doors. They're all kind of coded the same like NPCs are. It's kind of funny. Not going to talk to him. What am I doing? K does not work with using keys anymore. I actually have to go in my bag and double click that. Do this. There's a reason for that, and I don't want to spoil what the reason is, just in case you never played this game before. Which just makes it a little bit challenging trying to commentate about Ultima. Dear friend, I am free! I thank thee for freeing me from this hellhole. The natives of this place are ignorant sots. Imagine, thinking me to be a sorcerer. Yeah, they have to be ignorant to think that. You clearly can't cast magic, Iolo. I saw a look in that pack since the Storm Lord. Nothing in my backpack is as it was when Lord British gave us the list avatar. I am making a list of the strange items which the storm gave us. Then I shall add to it. Alright, welcome back, Iolo. Let's close that door. Now, that's either water in that bucket, or Iolo had to relieve himself. A little bit disgusting. And these barrels are food, which you don't need. We're not going to tell you. You can steal in this game. We're not in Britannia anymore. Your companions won't complain about it. I guess there's no virtues here. So that's why they don't complain about it. Maybe they just simply don't care. Maybe the game just isn't coded that way. If the guards see you, though, they will arrest you, so be careful. I'm not going to steal, because I'm a good guy. That's the thing with games with me. If a game has thievery mechanics, like guards get summoned, I don't steal unless the character I make is a thief or something, and he doesn't care. If I'm playing a good guy who doesn't steal, then I won't steal. Let's check Iolo's stuff. He's got a pumpkin and an urn. I do not believe the pumpkin is a swapped out item, but this is. That is similar to the urns in the Crypt of the Dead in the crematorium, which is going to be our next stop. So I will give Ruben that. Let's check what notes Iolo has done. Put in here, I mean. And further comments by Iolo. Since being free from that vile Monitorian prison cell. Iolo, you gotta get over it. It's been like an hour in there. You act like you've been there for like 10 years or 6 months or something. Nothing's changed here though, not too much. He's added the urn, some sort of vase with suit inside. Excuse me. Other than that, he doesn't have a whole lot. Leather leggings. These chain leggings are better off on Dupre's body. We can probably sell these leather leggings to someone. Shamno can have the food. And Dupre can have the hammer. I'm gonna give Ultima VII and its messy UI. It gets messy really quickly. He can have the sling. As far as what I can give Iolo, I guess he can have a dagger. Because he doesn't have his crossbow yet. Iolo can be the key guy. Shamino can have the food. Right there. You pray. You're also gonna carry treasure. We should be good to go. I guess he can carry, like, armor and stuff, too. He's got a lot of strength to him. And the torches, I think Shamino can hold onto that. And just like the Black Gate, I'll have the Avatar carry plot important items, reagents. Gold he doesn't need to carry, actually. I just have Dupre carry it. He's got the most strength right now. Reagents, a scroll. That's Lord British's scroll. I think we're good to go. Let's go explore. We gotta go back to the crematorium. Yeah, the attempt yesterday trying to record this is really put me in a fluster. I'm still feeling it right now for some reason. Also, look at this. Another Serpent Isle quirk. You may have noticed this from Spoonie's review of Ultima VII Serpent Isle. NPCs can get in each other's way, and this is what happens. And this still happens despite the Serpent Isle Fixes mod. Now, the creator of that mod is a guy named Marzo, and I forget the rest of his name. I hope he never fixes this, because this is funny. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Let's go in here first, actually. There's a guy in here I want to talk to. We also need shelter from that storm. Oh. He's not in here? I'm looking, I don't see him in here. Oh! Was he always there? He came out of nowhere. It just turned 9 o'clock, so I imagine he just popped in. I'll know once I start watching this in my editing software. Let's talk to him. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello, my lord. I am Craig, the provisioner. If thou needs any goods, I can provide them at a fair price. Let's ask about information. Someone has sent thee to me, eh? Well, I shall try to be of help to thee. What dost thou inquire about? What can you tell me about the ruins here in Serpent Isle? There must have been a great war here in the days when the daemons ruled the Serpent Isle. Even here they call them daemons. The walks had taken me deep into the most tangled woods, where I found many mysteries. Ruins built of strange stone, artifacts made of brass, sometimes a skull or shattered weapon, and always the sign of the serpent. Actually, you know what? Daemons are sometimes confused with gargoyles. So they might be gargoyles. I don't want to spoil anything. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that. Sign of the serpent. We'll know once we get further into the game. Hast thou not wondered why our land is known as Serpent Isle? Everywhere our ancestors went, they found the sign of the serpent in carvings, statuettes throughout the many ancient ruins. Monitor itself was built on the site of an ancient ruin from the times of the serpent. And that is all he has to say. I was hoping we could ask him about all that strange stuff we got in the storm. Very well. Also, he always reminds me of Sylvester Stallone, even when I first played this back in the day. He needs a new shirt, too. That's a sign that he's been traveling outside for too long, looking for ancient ruins and stones and such. Knights. We're all knights in this town. I must tell thee, stranger, that if thou art not a knight, thou art nothing in this town. If thou canst not master the test of knights, then it would be best for thee to move on. Supplies. I sell many things that a warrior will require while traveling outside the city. I also buy a few goods that I need. Dost thou wish to buy or sell? I like to sell something. I buy a few leather items, my lord, but my prices are set, I'm afraid. I'll buy leather goods from thee, if thou have any. What dost thou care to sell, my lord? I have leather leggings that you might want. How many pairs do you like to sell? Just one. Didst thou take this from the body of a goblin? No. Iolo was carrying it. So, if you're criticizing the condition of that pair of pants, then blame Iolo. Everyone else does. So be it. I'll buy thy pair of leggings, excuse me. 10 monetary, take it or leave it, sure. Dost thou wish to sell more items? No. What do you have for buying? Other than leather. Not gonna buy any of that. For supplies, he has a kidney belt, backpack, shovel, torch, bedroll, pick, jerky, and hardtack. I don't need any of these things. Now, the pants we sold probably came off one of our characters. It came off of Shamino. So let's go ahead and give him, and I gave it to Dupre. I'm taking off this kidney belt. Oh, perfect. Where are you going? You got a store demand. Let's go in here and talk to no one because that's someone's house. There's a lady here. Pardon me, yes, stranger. When thou hast become a knight, I can be of service to thee. Until then, go thy way. Well, how do you do any business if someone's not a knight? Do you just ignore them? How do you even stay in business? Well, let's go to the crematorium. Oh, I didn't mean to talk to Iolo. It didn't go into conversation, though. But now that we're here, we can play a song or ask him about Gwenno. Wouldst thou enjoy some idle conversation, my lord, or shall I embrace my lute and provide a musical interlude? Let's ask about Gwenno. I miss Gwenno so much, Avatar. I hope that it is not long before we find her, and I may hold her in mine arms again. Bye. Go in here. I want to talk to this guy. He gives you a little bit of a clue about what you can do in this game. I say, who is that? Art thou a stranger? Yes. No, I do not speak with strangers. I only care to speak with my fellow knights. What's your name? Flame? Oh yes, we keep the fires going constantly. You said name, old man, not flame. Funny that's coming from Iolo of all people, and this line can come from either Dupre or Shamino as well, or anyone else you have in your party. Oh, as I can tell, mine hearing is not what it once was. 'Tis the roar of the fires which hath done it. I am Renfrey, knight and cremator. And what are your duties? We could probably guess. What? Why, I am the undertaker of Monitor. Didst thou not know that? I thought everyone knew that. Do not forget, knight, that one day I shall cremate thee. I'm not a knight. Tell me your duties as an undertaker. This guy reminds me of that one guy in You, the undertaker of You, back in Blackgate, back in Britannia. I take care of the dead. I am in charge of the crematorium. I prepare bodies for cremation and oversee the chamber that houses the ashes of the dead. Not gonna ask this yet, and that's a reason for that. The cremator. Be reverent when thou art in the presence of the machine of cremation, as it represents death itself. After I throw the switch, the pumps begin to churn. When the heat builds, the trapdoor on top opens. The body then falls into the fires below. The mechanism retrieves the ashes of the dead and places them in an urn. A traveling bell carries the urn out of the fiery belly of the machine, so that I might collect it and take it to the crypts of the dead, which is right over there. Careful with what thou wouldst put near the thing. It hath the capacity to destroy practically any object in the world. He is completely correct about that. So if you want to delete something in the world, put something up there. If not, don't put it up there. Urn. Andrew, our town sculptor, makes them. What can you tell me about Andrew? Talented, but very solitary person he is. Never leaves his house except to go to his workplace. He was especially upset by the recent theft at his shop. Oh, what was stolen? Had something to do with that sage who was in town recently. Andrew will know more about it. Talk to him. Dost thou know the name of this sage? I have a perfect memory for names. 'Twas Badwin, I think. A very large man, with a hooded companion. Must be Batlin. Now, if Batlin is still a rather corpulent man, I think it'd be funny if, considering it's been 18 months since the Black Gate, he actually lost a lot of weight because of all the stress, but concerning Batlin, who can summon and create food with magic, the stress probably just made him eat even more, so he might even be even bigger than he already was. The dead. I'm glad thou didst mention that. Remember that, if thou shouldst ever stumble across the remains of a brave departed pikeman, thou must bring his body home for cremation. If thou dost not do this, the ghosts of the dead will torment thee until thy dying day. I have been given authority by Lord Marston to pay 100 Monitorian for every pikeman's body brought home again. That way they can be properly entombed within the crypts. So that's great. You can get a lot of money if you find dead pikemen outside. It's not a lot unless you actually go out of your way to kill random pikemen, which is actually viable, by the way. We're not going to do that. Crypts. They are just beyond the curtain in the crematorium. Body? Dost thou carry a pikeman's body? No, I do not. And finally, ashes of the dead. 'Tis mighty curious for thee to know so little of our customs. Art thou certain thou art a knight? I just told you 2 times already that I'm not a knight, I'm a stranger here. I don't speak with strangers. To blazes! And that's it. So this is where I got stuck in my first attempt at recording, because I went outside somewhere, and I found several bodies of slain knights, and I brought them back here, which took a while because each body, without anything on it, weighs 10 stones, and as you can see, our stats aren't very good at this point of the game. Makes sense considering that this is the beginning of the game, especially Iolo. He's got the lowest strength. So only the Avatar, Shamino, and Dupre were able to carry 1 body. And I had to drag one after the other all the way here. I did that because I forgot about exchanging coins to free Iolo out of jail. Because for some reason I thought Iolo breaking them out or paying for the fine was going to be more expensive than 30. Because what happens is that whenever I played this, I usually become a knight first and then go get Iolo out. Because I felt that's more thematically fitting, but I want him back in the party as fast as possible because I want experience for everyone when we finish quests, you know? When it comes to monsters and such. So I brought everybody over here, and I was putting them in one by one into this cremation machine, and towards the end I got stuck on top of the bellows here, and I couldn't get off. That has never happened to me before. And I'm pretty sure that can happen in the base game. I was just going way too quickly. So I had to restart a bit of a section again. I had to save here, but I had to do the bodies again. But I was going too quickly. Because you have to throw a body in the machine, and then talk to Renfrew and get your money. I didn't do that. I was going too quickly because I wanted to continue with the commentary and stuff. So I ended up burning almost every single body in a row and then talking to Renfrew. But it was like 6 bodies, but I only got like 200 gold coins, Monitorian. So I got fed up and decided to just restart the whole thing, because I didn't want to redo that part again, because the commentary is going to be kind of lazy or messed up and stuff. That was problem number 1. The other problem is me wondering why music wasn't playing in certain sections. Like the cave music here in the Crypts of the Dead, which you heard at the beginning of this playthrough. So I was kind of going back and forth to see if the base Serpent Isle game was playing differently with Serpent Isle fixes, but it looks like everything checks out. I just think music plays when it wants to in an environment like this. I'll continue with that thought, but here is a Serpent Gate. That's important. I'm not going to explain what it is, but you will see what it is later on. But yeah, I think everything's going to be okay, because I played this 2 years ago on the official version with no problems. I'm going to turn on all these torches, light them I mean. Because down here, you may notice, well not down there, up here? Nope, that is just someone's urn. But yeah, music. I was worried because I was really playing Serpent Isle fixes, testing it out, off recording, and this music wasn't playing, but now it is. I think it just wants to play when it wants to. I was considering installing Snapshot and just starting over, and then continuing from there for the Let's Play. You probably get what I mean, but that is Iolo's crossbow right there. So we will do that to him. And this is likely Kaladin's urn. He complained about his urn disappearing, his father's urn, his father's ashes. But we're gonna give him back the urn soon. I'm gonna explore a little bit more though. I don't know why these torches are off. I'm gonna leave them on because they don't douse. It'd be helpful if I can click on that properly. And these statues look just like the statue back in the Royal Museum in Britain. But yeah, I was really worried that there was going to be some issues, but I don't think there's going to be, because it's a dead end, by the way. Those are just rocks. I'm pretty sure everything will be fine. Everything's triggering, events are triggering, conversation is triggering. I don't notice any weirdness compared to the base game. But the constant recordings, the 2-3 recordings, was a little bit messed up. That I couldn't splice them all together and make it flow correctly, so I'm doing this all over again. And our characters are hungry. Well, the avatar is hungry. Let's go ahead and feed everyone. I don't know if you noticed, I forgot to mention, a food icon shows right here when someone is hungry. I think that's a new Exalt thing. Everyone's full, which means we have pretty much no food. We need to get some food eventually. Hopefully we can get some soon, but for this part we're going to talk to every Monitorian here in Monitor. So there's going to be a lot of talking here in Monitor, the City of Courage. And they're not joking when they say a lot of people won't talk to you unless you're a knight. But some people will. Namely this lady down here. She is very, very important. I think she's outside. It's currently 10:13 a.m. There she is. This is Harna. Widow Harna, how may I help thee? The healer of Monitor. I also grow my own food. Widow, you say? My beloved husband was slain while doing his duty, so I shall have no complaints. Though goblins have taken his life, they too shall die. I have been hard on Cantra. A girl at her age needs a father, dost thou not agree? I do agree. Father. The knights say that there is glory in the way that Cantra's father died, but they do not see the truth. He did his duty, not to earn their respect, but out of love for his family. This type of courage and the source of it is something that the Knights of Monitor do not understand. Until they gain that understanding, there will be no winning this war with the goblins. One more thing I wanted to mention before continuing with this. The music, remember how it repeated and looped in the Black Gate? I tested that out too in base Serpent Isle, because you may notice it's not looping. Even though we're standing in one spot, like if we're still in the crematorium, it won't loop. Remember how we were in the Fellowship building and the music loops, the Fellowship theme? The base Serpent Isle also does the same thing. I was just trying to cross-reference and make sure there's not going to be any future problems with this, this playthrough, basically. Like I said, I'm sure it's going to be fine. Let's continue onwards. Cantra. Like how everything freezes in time when you're talking to someone. A little bit less immersive is not a big deal. Cantra misses her father terribly. He hath been gone for many weeks. She is nearly ready to become a knight herself now. Her father will be so proud of her. She is so serious about becoming a knight. All she ever does is practice with her wooden sword. We already asked about father. She can heal, we can buy food, or ask about information, which we will. What dost thou desire to know? We can ask about people, places, or strange objects, which is what I'm going to choose. What sort of items art thou inquiring about? Can you tell me anything about these stockings? My, those are fine stockings. Being a simple woman, I could never wear such things, nor would most of the women in Monitor, for they are knights. Perhaps thou shouldst speak with Brendan. He hath had the most, experience with women from outside the town. What about this plain shield? That shield could belong to anyone in this town. Green and white are the colors of Monitor and its warriors. Thou shouldst inquire if anyone is missing a shield. Okay, what about this lost ring? That looks to be a special ring, although it doth not appear to be magical. Lucilla is more interested in such baubles and trinkets than I. Perhaps she will be able to tell thee more. I must return to my duties. These crops will not wait. Courage, Divi. So you can only ask her 3 things a day. A little disappointing, but also... Oh, be careful there. She's got a whole field. You do this all yourself? Harna, my goodness. You have no help at all? Not even Kantra? Oh well, I lost my train of thought too, but yeah, you can only ask 3 things a day with Harna. Looks like I said, a little bit disappointing. That's the list field right there, and this place is important. For training and such. Oh, great, it's really bright now. There's Kantra again. I will talk to someone. Let's get in position though. This lady. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this. I can't control the weather, so I hope this brightness isn't annoying. I'm gonna try to read this. We have not had many strangers in our town lately. Let me introduce myself. I'm Shazana, a Knight of the Leopards. She's got 1 eye. Pretty badass. What can you tell me about the leopards? The wolves and the bears are full of dreams. We leopards are realistic. We live one day at a time. What are your duties? What business is of thine? If thou hast wished to train with me, then meet me at the list field at noon. If not, then be on thy way. At noon. I don't know if we can pick up these weapons. So I'm gonna save and do this. Stop that or else. Oh, better not do that. In fact, I'm gonna reload. Because I don't want an NPC following us when we, right after that, you know, bug things out or whatever. Or just simply being a little bit annoyed. That's too bad, though. These halberds are actually pretty good weapons. I was going to give one to Dupre. You can give one to anyone if you like. Let's talk to this guy, Brendan, the horn dog. I'm Brendan, stranger. Do you know anything about these stockings? What an icebreaker. And this guy's cheap-shotting him while we're trying to talk to him. That's not very honorable. Ah! I surmise thou hast heard of my reputation as something of a womanizer. Purely undeserved, I assure thee. I'll try to answer thy questions. A female mage would wear stockings such as the ones thou didst discover amongst thy possessions. Ah, so you lain with a mage woman too. Wonderful. Gwenno. A fine-looking woman. But I know nothing more of her. Well, thank goodness. Simon would be the one to ask concerning information of the strangers passing through town. And what are your duties? I'm the leader of the wolf command. Commander of the wolf, I mean. Like all the wolves, I am a warrior of cunning as well as strength. When I recover the helm of Monitorian from the goblins, then my prowess will be known to all. And I shall become the next champion knight of Monitor. Then glory will be mine, and the ladies will truly fall on me. I shall not be speaking with thee until thou hast become a knight of Monitor. Speak with Marston about that. Okay, bye. Let's talk to this guy. I'm Standard the Armorer. What dost thou wish of me? Bye. Return when my shop is open, and we can talk business. We don't know when he opens his shop, and why is Marston attacking me? He's attacking Shamino. Let's just leave. Also, if you want these weapons you don't mind stealing, just come here when no one's here. The Kantra is following us. What the heck? Where are we going? We're going nowhere. I'm going over here. You stay over there. You need to go train and prepare for your knight's test. We got a quest to finish. We gotta find Batlin, we gotta find Gwenno, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. This is a long game. It's very long. Just as long as the Black Gate. It's probably gonna take us just as long as the Black Gate to finish this game. Which is fine. Talk to this lady here, miss. Hello. Forgive my boldness, but I must say that thou hast a fine build, my lord. Surely thou hast overcome many foes with the powerful thrust of thy weapon. My name is Lucilla. Is there anything I can do for thee? Anything at all? Can you tell me about this lost ring? A ring so pretty must be intended for a loved one. Perhaps a ring of marriage or engagement. I already know her name, so ask her duties. I run the Slashing Sword, the best pub in Monitor. Thou mightest think that cooking is not a very knightly activity, but I assure thee, being the warriors in this town is is indeed a quest of courage. Please come by the pub sometime. And I would love to chat further. I do not speak with strangers. My standards are very high, and thou art not a knight of Monitor. Not a knight, she says. And she probably did a little twist of her hand in the air while she did that. So let's go ahead and leave, I guess, and go over here. over here is very important. This is the list field of Monitor. This is where you come to fight other knights. And currently is someone here that I can't see because it's off screen. But if you want to go in there, you talk to this guy. And this guy here is the bane of a lot of players in the original game. The base game, not Serpent Isle fixes. Because he has the potential of not showing up. He can disappear. Which is a bad thing because this place is the only place in the entire game, other than one area, one character, where you can train your stats. So if he's gone, that's going to be bad because you're not going to be able to train. There is, I believe, 2 other NPCs who can train you later on in the game, but this is the best place. But thankfully we're playing a Serpent Isle fixes, and I believe that is fixed. So that won't happen. This game was really buggy back in the day, but I was lucky enough to say that he's never disappeared on me. He was always showing up for me. I did finish this game, I think, a handful of times throughout the years. I never had any problems. I think the next person we're going to talk to is either the innkeeper Simon to know more about Gwenno. I think we will. He's not in here. This place has a blonde lady named someone because she doesn't want to talk to us. She got a lot of tattoos. Be gone with thee, stranger. No one who hath not passed the test of knighthood is worthy of my time. Good day. People here are so mean. This is not like Britannia at all. Let's go up this way. Here it is, the inn. We'll talk to this gentleman here. This must be Simon. How may I help thee? My name is Simon. What are your duties? I'm the innkeeper of the Sleeping Soldier, Monitor's Inn. If thou hast need a bed, I can certainly accommodate thee. Or if thou dost care to join me in a bottle of ale, I will gladly share with thee. What can you tell me about visitors? The only 2 memorable visitors we have had, besides thyself, were a fat sage and a scholar. I like how everyone keeps calling Batlin the fat sage. I mean, yeah, he's fat, but that's how they remember him. That's the description. It's a little embarrassing. I don't think he cares, though. Well, tell me about the fat sage. He has such a curiosity about the ancient ruins. I believe he followed Renfrey into the crypt so he could look around. Something there fascinated him. Thou shouldst also speak with Angel the sculptor. He and the sage spend many hours in conversation here at the inn. I believe he went northeast from here, towards the little hamlet of Sleeping Bull. The man's name, dost thou recall? Now what was that man's name? It was a simple name, unpleasant sounding and mean. Batlin, that was it. He called himself the sage Batlin. We have found Batlin's trail. Oh, and did I mention they had several underlings traveling with him? There was a warrior, a sailor, and a hooded man. What can you tell me about the hooded man? I noticed a funny smell about him, almost like brimstone. I also could have sworn that under his hood there were horns upon his head. But no, that is foolish. It must be some kind of trick. What about the sailor? A swarthy man who was called Deadeye. He had the look of a pirate about him. Shazana spent a bit of time with him, as I recall. And what of the warrior? Standar had a disagreement with this warrior. I'd wager he could tell thee a tale or two about him. And the scholar. She said she was researching the land and seemed anxious to learn all about Serpent Isle. Spectre dealt with her mostly. Gwenno. It must have been Gwenno. Yes, I believe that was her name. Reuben, what luck. We have found a trail to follow. Oh, Gwenno. Dost thou know where she went from here, my lord? I believe she went east, anxious to learn the wisdom of the Zenkin monks. She set sail with Captain Hawk, bound for Moonshade, and points beyond. Of course, this was before the storms. No sailor would brave these dangerous waters now. Praise virtue. This means she is alive and well. I thank thee, sir, for this woman was my wife. Very kind woman she was, sir. What can you tell me about Monitor? I've lived here all my life. My parents were killed when I was very young, in a goblin raid, of course. Most deaths are usually caused by goblins. We have spent our entire history fighting the creatures. And what can you tell me about the goblins? And speaking of which, I can't remember if I said this in part 1, I don't think goblins were even mentioned until we got here, at least later in that video. But goblins in this game are not very friendly. They were in Labyrinth of Worlds, at least some of them. Same thing for Stygian Abyss. I'm glad goblins came back in Ultima. Like some creatures just disappear out of nowhere. Goblins. No one knows where their home is. Templar is our local goblin expert, so thou shouldst speak with him. Since the death of Astrid, some say that there is a traitor amongst us, selling our secrets to the goblins. What are your thoughts on that? I have my own suspicions. Take a close look at Craig. He seems to spend a lot of time in the woods on long walks, alone. And what of the sleeping soldier? It is an old inn, as old as Monitor itself. I can gladly accommodate thee if thou dost wish. No thanks, innkeeper. I have been Monitor's innkeeper for, well, longer than I care to remember. I am probably the oldest person in town. I can remember when Marston, our current lord of Monitor, was but a baby. I have no complaints. It hath been a fair life. Well, one cannot truly control one's destiny, can one? I have had my share of misfortune. I have learned to move forward and try and forget the past. The past. When I was young, I was a knight of Monitor. I suppose technically I still am. Mine age prevents me from performing any quests of courage or going on patrol, of course. I passed the test in knighthood, but shortly afterwards the incident with the goblins occurred. I'm afraid that I had no more desire to battle after that. I have chosen to live quietly and run the inn. Misfortune. Alas, long ago my young bride was killed by goblins. We had ventured out onto the roads to journey to Fawn. At that time I was a knight, and I stupidly believed I could protect her on my own. We were ambushed by the foul creatures. I barely escaped with my own life. What this ale you have here? Yes, thou mayest drink thy fill of ale here. I am particularly fond of mine own personal brand of ale. Have a drink? Sure. Ribbon, art thou all right? Oh, what a mess. Ugh. Unusual taste, eh? I dare say I'm the only one outside of the city of Fawn who drinks it. I would share more with thee, but I think that thou dost not appreciate it. Besides, I must clean this foulness. Such a waste. Bleh. Yuck. And he just completely leaves. I guess he's going to get cleaning equipment. The Sleeping Soldier Registry, Gwenno, Alinda of Monitor, Batlin the Sage, Dragon, and Peter of Monitor. Let's just leave. I was going to talk to him some more, but he just up and left. I got about, 11 minutes left? Here we go. This is obviously Angel, the sculptor's workshop. Oh, that's not a good position. Let's go back right here. I don't think you want to see a roof. Hello, stranger. I'm Angel of Monitor. Dost thou need the services of a master artist? Perhaps I should not speak with thee. I hope thou art not come to rob me. Rob you? Why would I want to do that? I am not sure that I care to speak about the incident. 'Twas most unpleasant. There's a stranger in Monitor, one who claimed to be from another land. He was very large, a scholar rather than a warrior. He traveled with many companions, including a tall cloaked stranger. On the night that Batlin the Sage left town, someone stole an ancient relic from mine home. I suspect that he was the thief. Batlin, why, he is our enemy too. What can you tell me about Batlin? He came inquiring about ancient ruins, and was especially interested in the Serpent Stone, but Renfrey can tell thee more of this. Simon the innkeeper heard the sage say that he had come here from Fawn. Oh, what can you tell me about Fawn? The City of Beauty lies due north of here, on the shores of a great bay. Fawn is a city of fishermen. The women of Fawn are the most beautiful in the land, but they are overly pampered. Monitoran females, on the other hand, are as strong as oxen. Okay, what about his companions? There's not much to say. The one in the cloak spent most of his time in the inn, and seldom spoke. Perhaps Simon could tell thee more. There was also a warrior named Brunt who traveled with Batlin. We already talked to Simon about that. He was small in stature, but with incredibly broad shoulders. Oh, if only he would have posed in my studio. I could have created such art. Standar fought him in the list field, and said that he was an opponent unlike any other. And what of this artifact? Mine ancestors found the relic when they first founded this city, and it hath been kept in the family all this time. To be honest, we were afraid to discard it. It had a demonic appearance, being shaped like a serpent, and composed of a dark rock never before seen. Perhaps black rock, Avatar. We hated the object, yet we were afraid to be parted from it. I cannot explain this, but it was so. Serpent-shaped? Indeed, 'twas as if a living serpent had been changed into stone, a perfect replica. It is not uncommon to see the symbol of the serpent among the ruins, yet I have never seen before or since any such rock serpent. Couldst thou describe the curvings of the serpent? Why, the head curved to the right, and the body was most sinuous. Why dost thou ask? Avatar, this man's stolen relic was a perfect match for the one thou lost in the storm, except that it faced the opposite way. Demonic appearance. Monitorians are not a superstitious people, yet we fear the ancient ruins. They were once the homes of daemons who ruled this land in a distant age. They were horned beings with red skins, and they had the power to command molten rock to flow. The serpent was their sign, nothing more. But let me say this, Batlin shall not rest in peace, for a powerful warrior is on his trail. Dost thou know of Wilfred the Slayer? No, just the name. Wilfred is a knight of Monitor, but his home is at the Inn of the Sleeping Bull. Batlin hath been there as well, and Wilfred's father hath mysteriously disappeared. Wilfred suspects the sage of being involved. Surely brave Wilfred shall track down the sage and kill him, and I shall enjoy sweet revenge. What can you tell me about the Sleeping Bull? Thou canst find the Inn of the Sleeping Bull by taking the Serpent Highway north from here. There is not much there, save for an ancient inn for which the village is named. Wilfred's brother Argus doth operate it. And what do you sculpt? I'm a sculptor by trade. There is a brisk business to be done in this city, fashioning busts and statues for the knights. But I can make time for thee if thou dost wish to commission my talents. Commission? For a fee, I create works of art to honor knights when they complete great quests, or when they simply wish to pay me money for a monument to their vanity. Dost thou wish to commission a work from me? No, thank you. I am proud of thee. Thy life and thy deeds are all the testament anyone truly needs, provided one hath truly made something of their life. Goodbye. Till next we meet. I'll go see if Simon's back in the inn, because I'm not done talking to him. We missed some dialogue options, I believe. So hopefully he's back in there. He is. Oh, it looks like he cleaned everything up, too. And why is he going in there? What the heck? Duties. And I forget what we missed. 5 monetary per person? No, thank you. Innkeeper. We saw that. We saw that, I think. We clicked that. We clicked this. The sleeping soldier. Monitor. Goblins. Trader. Visitors. Bat Sage. Hooded Man. Scholar. Warrior. Sailor. That's it. Okay, we did click everything. Never mind. I'm trying to think who else we can talk here. I think we talked to everyone we could. I think everyone's been talked to. We don't have a map of the Serpent Isle yet. We will get one soon. So I'm going to walk around just a little bit more. I think Spectre, because he talked to someone, I believe. And thankfully Spectre talks to us. Unlike some other NPCs. Gwenno. There was a woman here a while ago who spent much time in the Hall of Monitor, examining our museum display. Very friendly. Where did she go from here? Dost thou know? We already know from Simon. She left here for the east, to study at the library on Monk Isle, as I recall. Avatar, we must journey onward and find her. Monk Isle. Frankly, 'tis a mysterious place. I do not know much about it, except the legend that wise monks dwell there. The only way to go there is by ship, but there are no sailors here. The storms have discouraged them. Perhaps thou couldst hire a captain in Fawn, which is the city of fishermen, or at the hamlet of the Sleeping Bull. What can you tell me about Fawn? Fawn is a coastal town filled with worshippers of beauty. Frankly, I find those people to be a little too superficial for my liking. Sleeping Bull? Then there's a very old establishment, built in the days before the founding of the three cities. The village is built around the inn. Since it is such a crossroads, thou canst often meet all sorts of interesting folk there, and it is the direct link to the city of mages. What can you tell me about that? A place where I shall never be seen. I distrust magic in all its forms. Moonshade is on the isle beyond, which is across the channel from Sleeping Bull. Thou wouldst need a boat to journey there. Perhaps thou couldst obtain a new spellbook there. And that's all he has to say. Goodbye. Go in courage. Alright, so I think we talked to everyone here in the City of Courage that we could, so in the next part, I think we're either going to do a little exploring, get some extra experience, or just basically tackle the Knight's test immediately. I'm thinking the former.